All right, everybody, this is John Crutchfield. Welcome to the Grab the Map podcast, where we don't just look at it, we grab the map. Very excited today. I love getting on here every Tuesday and doing these podcasts, talk about rental real estate. We like to talk about flipping houses, renting houses out, buying and selling, doing some investment and all those kinds of things. And hopefully I have everything on Do Not Disturb here, but if I don't, I'll figure that out while we do this. And we've got a great guest on today. Actually has had me on his podcast several times, which I'm sure he'll tell us about. And I was like, man, we have all these conversations about real estate investing. We should record one or several, however many we want to do, and get these out here to help some other people. So Aalim Bakari, how you doing, man?
What's up, John Crutchfield?
Man, I'm having a pretty good day. It's pretty good. Got some ups and downs, but that's not anything compared to that team that you got on your shirt right there.
Man, as I was putting this on today, I was like, do you really want to go through this today? Do you really want all of the comments and statements? I'm like, but I'm a true blue fan. I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan probably since 1975. So
that's fair. That's fair. See, when you loyal, I'm all with you. So you've been through the glory days,
nice.
long time ago, and you stay faithful. So I'm glad y'all got
hard though.
I'm glad y'all got one, man. I'm glad it worked out.
Man, if we could just put a defense with him, that would be great. But but anyway.
But hey, we're gonna talk about real estate.
Real estate, yes, sir.
Today, and I guess it's a good way to start is have everybody just meet you. I know you a little bit, and we've started to get to know each other. But I want you to tell everybody who you are, kind of what you do, and maybe just start out with the question telling us about how you got involved in real estate investing.
Okay, so I am Aalim Bakari. I have a company called Victory Capital. I've been in real estate. I did my first deal back in the 80s. I really have a very diverse background when it comes to real estate. I have a financial services background, so I've always been in and around financial services. John, I forgot to turn this on. I've always been in and around financial services and real estate, and I'm the type of person that loves putting real estate deals together. And so my first deal was I bought and sold some notes, some mortgage notes. Then I built a pretty sizable portfolio from 1999 up until 2009. Mm-hmm. And so took a 10-year break and sat on the sideline and licked my wounds after 2009. So here I am again.
Okay. So 10 years of real estate investing experience. That's going to help out a lot of this audience. A lot of people listening to this podcast might be getting ready to do their first deal. They might be just getting started in real estate. We've got some people who listen have done quite a few, but I think that your experience will be very helpful to us. So, hey, let's just look at let's just look at this question here. Like, how has real estate blessed your life being a part of doing deals? How has it impacted your life?
Man, it is the first thing it's done is it has given me the opportunity for my wife and kids to be to enjoy life at a different level. I was able to take my wife off of her job so that she could be home to help raise our kids when they were young. We've been able to travel. I've been able to be a blessing to my church, be a blessing to others. So it has just provided me with a lifestyle that I don't believe a 9-to-5 job would have ever been able to.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Man, real estate can just open things up in a way that a W-2 doesn't always open things up. And sometimes, having multiple income streams or lump sums of income sometimes can definitely make a big difference on quality of life. And that's what I hear. And man, being able to bless your church, spend time with your family, that's becoming more important to me every day.
Man, I'm telling you, it's the ultimate. And as I look back, now that my sons are now 24 and 25, just hearing them talk about some of the experiences that they remember as a kid, it's just awesome, man.
Yeah, that's good. I guess since you mentioned your family, can you tell us a little bit about how your family has, how you've managed your family while also trying to do real estate deals?
Man, that's been the difficult piece in early on, but now I'll say early on. So I'm a very focused individual, and I think I have a great work ethic, and so there would be times that I would be I wouldn't get home until late, things like that. But I've never missed. I was always at football practices, basketball practices, basketball games, baseball games. So I never missed any of that, and just it's something that you have to make a concerted effort to do. And I tell this to people all the time. I've made the conscious decision to not sacrifice my family for success. And I have several friends who are multi-millionaires. I mean, they have the trappings, they got the houses, they got the cars, they got the lifestyle. But what most of them don't have is they don't have that solid family structure. And that's just not a price that I'm willing to pay.
Man, I like you more and more every time we talk, man. I see a similar thing. I was a former principal of a school, and I was looking at all these superintendents and looking at these politicians, and I was like, man, I climbed that ladder. I wonder what my family structure is going to look like, and I wonder if I could be able to hold it together. And it became very clear that my wife was like, look, it's time with us, or it's time with that. And had to find some other way to make an impact and also be able to give my family that time. So, man, I know you don't regret being able to keep it all together by making that decision, right?
I don't. And man, now that they're older, I'll give you a prime example. So when my kids were in their teens, as most kids do, I would want to spend time with them. They're like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, all that. But now that they're older, I'm having I'm having to reposition my life to spend time with them, because they now, as young adults, want to spend time with me. And I'm like, man, that is just awesome. The fact that they want to go fishing with me, they want to go play golf, and they just want to just sit and talk. I mean, I would not trade that for anything in the world.
Yeah, I can feel it. It's kind of like this period where it goes from that rebellious teenage period to now I'm grown and I realize that you was actually trying to tell me something about the world and how things work. So
yeah.
That's pretty cool. So what do you have going on right now? What kind of real estate opportunities do you look for? And maybe we'll jump into some conversation as we see what you got going on.
Well, man, right now I'm on a journey. I'll say it like that. And when I decided to get back into real estate, so I have an ultimate goal, and there are steps that I'm having to take to get there. So what I'm doing right now is I'm wholesaling some deals to build the capital that I need to do new construction and development. That's my ultimate goal. And so I've been able to teach myself how to wholesale. I had done a bunch of fix and flips. I had rentals, but I had never just delved into this thing called wholesaling. And so I'm a proof of concept kind of person. So the first deal I did, I just did it to just see if I could do it. And I think I made $5,000 on the first wholesale deal. I was like, oh, okay. So this is what it is. And so then the next one was larger. Then I just closed one Monday where I wholesaled a deal and I made 15 off of it. So it's hard to not keep wholesaling, but I know long term for me, that's not where I want to go. I'm trying to build a real estate company. So I'm just using it as a stepping stone to get to where I want to go, and that's new construction and development.
Right. And you kind of talking about big numbers to a lot of people, right? You're talking about, 5,000, 15,000. These are huge numbers that you're talking about. I just closed on Monday, So really, like you say, you self-taught yourself to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So no big training program, no big mentor that you had.
Well, I will say there's a guy I follow. He has a software called Rehab Valuator, and he is his software. And then I think I joined. He had a wholesaling course, but once I got into it, I was like, it was good. It's good. I'll just say that. But really, man, the thing is you have to just go out there and you have to do it. I will say a big help to me was software, and I'm not a paid advertising person. I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that. But so the two softwares I used was Rehab Valuator and PropStream. PropStream was very helpful, and then I hired a VA to make the calls because I still have a full-time job.
Okay. Yeah. So you got educated. You use some tools that you found out about, and then you also leverage somebody else's time to help you find these deals, right?
Exactly.
For those who might not know, like a VA is a virtual assistant. What types of activities does this virtual assistant do?
She actually makes all of the cold calls for me. And I would say if you're still on a full-time job, I would definitely advise you to find and vet a VA to help you, because while I'm here at work, I have someone that's across the globe making real estate calls for me on my behalf. And so she makes the calls. When she gets someone that's interested, she sends me their phone number and everything concerning the call, and then I just follow up with the call. So that's been a godsend, is having somebody that will make calls. Actually, I just brought on a second VA that should be ramped up next week, and I'm gonna have them doing cold calling, emailing, and sending out blast of text messages as well.
Yeah. So just a lot of wealth of information here. If I'm somebody who works a full-time job and I've been thinking about, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to find a deal or find a real estate, something off market that I could sell and make some money, I could hire somebody else to do it. And so I guess I would pay that person with the money that I got in these, $5,000 or $15,000 chunks that you just talked about.
Well, before I had those chunks, I had to finance it some way, and so I just made a decision. I would put it on my card, and I paid them. I paid them off my card. My VA, she for making 350 calls, she charged me $100 to make those calls. The PropStream software cost $100 a month. So I would say $300 to $500 a month, and you're good. And so you just have to. So I decided to not shop, not play golf. And so it's just. And then after listening to you, if anybody knows about John, John has a coaching program, and John has been coaching me, and I like to say this in a fun way. He's been kicking me in the behind. So John told me, he said, "Man, you're not making enough calls, and you're not eating and sleeping this." And so ever since that conversation I had with you about what has it been? Probably a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Time flies. It feels like it's been longer than that.
I know it. And you told me I wasn't waking up early enough. I wasn't making enough calls, and I wasn't seeing enough. I wasn't looking at enough houses, and so I did exactly what you said.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember that conversation, and sometimes people take it good and sometimes people take it bad, but it's really true. The more time and energy that we give to whatever we're doing, we're going to see results eventually, right? And this is one of those businesses where we can give a lot of time to it, and it'll pay off. But a lot of that time in between the payoff and the time is a lot of no's, a lot of closed doors, a lot of things that would typically make us say, "Man, it ain't worth this $500 a month. I'm paying $500 a month and I'm not seeing any results." And then if I calculate this right, $500 a month times 12 months, that's $6,000. And if I'm calculating this right, you just closed the deal on Monday, which was not your first one, but you just closed the deal on Monday that would more than pay for all of that expense in one deal, and you got the rest of the year to go to make that money. So
exactly,
it always pays off. It just takes a little bit of time, and that's pretty cool. I'm glad you remember that conversation, because it's sometimes I'll be telling you stuff to kind of kick my own stuff. So
I know what you mean. If I could add this, John, real quick, and here's something that for everybody that's listening in. You cannot believe the hype that there is not real estate, that there's not any, that there's too much competition and there's no real estate transactions to be found. That's a lie. Don't believe it. There are deals being done out here every single day. You just got to get it in the flow of it and get enough activity to get your deals. And I started trying to track how many real estate deals I actually look at per day, and I lost count to just see how long would it take for me to get to my first one. And so, and
it is competitive. It is competitive, and I think everything is competitive when there's money involved and you can make money and you have opportunity. I always like to ask myself, how much headache do I want to go through in order to get where I say I want to be, right? And so it's like, okay, how many no's do I want to listen to for that one yes that's going to make a huge difference in my business? And I'm still at that point in my mind where, as long as I can decompress and find some things to do to de-stress, I'm willing to go through a lot of headache. I'll listen to a lot of no's to get that door open. And if you listen to a lot of the no's, that you waiting on the one yes, and the one yes could change your business. So one yes, keep pushing. That's pretty cool. So another question that I had on our list here that I thought would be good was, you kind of mentioned that you had someone that you were looking at, but I also know that you have your own podcast and you do a lot of networking. You know a lot of people, right? So I want to hear about how your networking, how your associations with a lot of different people help you in your real estate business.
Well, actually, John, I don't consider myself a networker. It's just that I've just been around for a long time. I've been in the industry. I've been in the real estate, financial services kind of mortgage industry since 1984. So I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me, but then I'm the type of person, if you're doing something that I want to do, I'm not afraid to ask you. And that's how I've just been able to do what I do. Is there was what's his name? Tony Robbins has this saying that has stuck with me since the 80s. He had this saying. He said, "Success leaves clues."
Success leaves clues.
Success leaves clues. And so I just have to be close enough to you to where as you're walking through what you're doing, I want to be close enough to you to where I can pick up on those clues, either in a book, a podcast, a conversation. Success leaves clues. And you know, I'll tell you something else, man, and this is a big mind shift for me is that there's a lot of good people out here that really want to help you and that will share what they know, such as you. I mean, the fact that the things that you've shared with me wasn't anything that you had to share, but you've been very open and transparent. And so it's up to me to then take the information and understand that if John can do it, then I can do it. If I put in the same time and the same effort, I should get similar results. And so that's how I just I build my network. Though I just open up my mouth. I get out of my comfort zone. I'm really a very shy. I'm shy. You ain't gonna believe that.
I'm smiling at all of this you're saying because he's like, I'm not a networker. I'm shy. And please, let's hear all that.
I'm not, John. I mean, I'm just a humble guy, man. That's just I'm humble and hungry, and so but I'm just not afraid to ask.
Yeah, and I mean, you just said so much right there that somebody could take away from. You know, you talk about, you know, I'm not a networker, but I network. You know, I'm not kind of all out here, but I do what I have to do in order to grow. And I think everybody needs to think about it that way. You know, it's our natural tendencies may not always get us the results that we're trying to get. And as somebody who actually is shy and an introvert, I can say, hey, it works. It works. It pays off. And sometimes it makes you better, you know, to come outside of your comfort zone. So that's pretty cool.
And that's the part for me. So it's like, I can't use an excuse of, I can't learn to use a software or, you know, I don't have technical skills. Well, but you have to do what you have to do to get to where you say that you want to be. And so I just, that's just, you know, the thing that keeps me going is if you say you want to be successful, then do what it takes. And sometimes you got to get uncomfortable and you got to ask people that you would normally ask. And you have to be around people that you would normally be around. But so.
Man, that's gold, man. That's like, that's so valuable in who we're around, who we talk to, changing some of those groups sometimes. I notice that if I'm around somebody that's really super positive and they're always, you know, forward thinking, I notice that the way I start thinking is like, man, I could be forward thinking. And then sometimes if I'm talking to somebody who doesn't believe or they're kind of negative and I just listen to it long enough, I'll be like, man, this is tough. This is, maybe is this worth it? So who we talk to is a big deal. and I cannot tell you how many times I have started to feel down. I call somebody that's, got hundreds of properties, or call somebody that's grown a big business, and they're like, no, you're doing it right. Like you got it. This is where you should be going. And I'm like, man, if I hadn't called you, no telling what decision I would have made or what I would have done. So
Exactly.
extending your network, very important. And I'm glad to have you as a part of my network, man, because you have definitely had given an impression. Just sharing your experience has helped me as well, and your encouragement. So maybe it would be helpful. I don't want to take up your whole day. Oh,
Okay.
time is it? Oh, we got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But could you maybe walk us through one of your recent deals by the numbers? And of course, if you don't feel comfortable sharing that, that's okay. But if you could maybe pick one of these transactions and just walk us through the numbers of it.
Well, the most recent one was I through my cold calling efforts, my VA found a interested seller that had a lot in Fort Worth to sell, and after much, oh man. And here's the thing too, when you're doing real estate deals, you have to have patience, and it's that's something that I'm learning. It took me about a month to get this lady to sign the contract. And so she finally signed the contract, and this was a lot that I was going to actually do a new construction on. And so I just said, hey, I'm gonna just put it in some Facebook groups and see what somebody offers me. I wasn't really expecting anybody to offer me more than what I paid for it. And so this guy inboxed me and told me he would give me $15,000 over what I had it under contract for. And I said, okay. I said, whatever. I didn't take it serious. I said, okay, well, you send the earnest money to the title company, then we have a deal. Next day, he signed the assignment and sent the earnest money, and and so I closed it, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but because I've made larger sums of money, I didn't get too excited. But to see that I made that much doing a real estate transaction that I had never, a type of transaction that I've never done, because I've always either fixed and flipped, or either rented. So, but to do that was real good. So, yeah. But then, let me add this part. So after she signed the contract, getting her to come to the closing took about another 2 weeks, because some people are not familiar with how transactions go. So, yeah, I just know that, and you know this, John, getting the contract signed is a hurdle, but then getting people to closing is another hurdle, especially when they're selling and they become attached to it. And it's like, this is going to be this is like the final straw. So.
Yeah, it can definitely be, it can be tough to get the whole transaction closed out and get it finished and finalized. That was my little Facebook post of the day today. It was just talking about how we gotta enjoy the process. I had one recently, a deal that I bought where the seller was doing some of the financing for me, or most of it, right? And that's a big hurdle for me, because a lot of the hurdles for me on my deals, I do long-term rentals, is how do I get the down payment to buy the property? And this particular seller they agreed to do the hardest part of the financing for me, but they didn't make it easy. One of the sellers, it was two sellers, and one of them got sick and he was in the hospital a couple of days before the closing. And I remember going to lunch with one of my buddies, and I was just, it was the day we were supposed to close. And I was like, man, these people, they don't want to sell their property. They about to get this big old check and they don't want to get this done. And I was just complaining about the transaction and how hard they had been the whole time I was trying to get this done. And I remember Blake just telling me, he was like, look, you shut up. Like, you're complaining about the work that's going to make you millions of dollars. Like,
right.
You're complaining about the work that's going to bless you. It's the process that you complaining about, but on the other side of this. And I kid you not, this man told me, why aren't you at the hospital with a notary getting this man to sign the paperwork? Like, that's just a part of the thing. That's just a part of the business. Because like, they don't need the money as much as you need the transaction. And I was like, man, I kid you not. I called a notary. I went to the hospital. The man signed it. We closed that day. And
wow.
I was stuck not thinking about what I needed to do to get it to the finish line. Yeah. I was thinking about how tough and how wrong it was that they weren't just, begging to sell me this property. And what he taught me really, really, it was a valuable lesson. And I think that's what we're talking about, getting it to the finish line makes sense. I appreciate you for sharing that transaction with us, because I think another thing a lot of us think is sometimes we think that what's valuable to us is the value of something. Mm-hmm. And you ever heard that phrase, like, one man's trash is another man's treasure? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Yep.
What you're talking about is something you thought was worth one price, somebody else they were all over it.
Yep. Man, I tell you, one of the biggest lessons that I'm still learning is emotional intelligence and how to keep my emotions intact when things go wrong. Because, even with that transaction, I had all these thoughts of the buyer that's buying it from me that went around me, and they're trying to cut a side deal, and they just didn't want to because the contract was about to expire. It's just all of these thoughts, man. And I have to just sometimes stop myself and say, you're thinking about things that hadn't even happened. You're making up scenarios in your head. And so I just had to just calm down. And man, it was like, that to me, I think that's the hardest part of real estate or any business, is being able to control your emotions and not self-sabotage yourself.
And so much of it is our mindset, right?
Our mindset, yep.
It's how we think. And we spend a lot of time on this podcast. And when in my coaching groups, we spend a lot of time on mindset, because it's a working process, right? And sometimes it's you just kind of a mindset away from where you want to be. Mm-hmm. I got another buddy, I talk to him all the time. I'm just like, man, it's like, yeah, he's in trucking. He's in trucking business, so not real estate. But he's like, man, I'm putting on my fifth truck. He's like, putting on my fifth truck, but he's got a full-time job, and he's got a wife, new baby, and he's got all this stuff going on. But he's got 5 trucks on the road, and his mindset is still telling him he's got to do all his own accounting. He's got to do his taxes by himself. He's got to talk to all of his drivers and give them all their routes and all of this. I'm like, man, like you gonna have 10 trucks, but the only way you're gonna have them is if your mindset shifts, right? You're gonna have to spread some of this wealth around and delegate, leverage other people's time. And sometimes that one mindset, you get it, and then it just takes off. Takes off. So, and this is pretty good, man. You got a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate you for being able to share it today. Can you tell me, I know you said you want to do some development, and that's eventually where you want to go, new construction. But But what's next? What do you see in the immediate surroundings, and then maybe long term?
What's next, man, is I got to build, because we're out of the first quarter. I got to build 3 houses this year. I got to. This year. 2021. I got to go through. I got to build 3 new houses because I have a financial services background, and I keep talking about this. I know what the lenders look for. I know what their qualifications are. I know how many houses you have to do before you can get certain kinds of loans and favorable loans and all that. And so 5 is the magic number for new construction that takes you from a novice to an experienced builder. And so once I can build that track record, then I'm going to build multifamily and mixed use. That's what I want to do. I'm a builder, man. I love to build. I just love taking something from nothing and creating it. So yeah,
that's those big dreams, man. So you talking about like not just new houses, but doing maybe some commercial development, some apartments on top and commercial on the bottom type stuff. And I want to do some of that stuff too. But we just talked about it. That mindset has to get there. And that's, you think big, and that's why I need to be around you. So, man, I appreciate you so much for sharing stuff today. Did you have something else there?
I was just going to say, man, the thing that's driving that is this, and you can definitely attest to this, John. There's more fix and flippers than there are commercial developers, right?
Right.
There's way more people that wholesale than do commercial deals, right? And so where I want to get to is that level of real estate transaction where it's not. I'll put it like this: I want to go further out on the limb so I can get the sweetest fruit. And so there's just a lot more competition in fix and flipping as opposed to doing development and new construction, because most people are afraid of it. And so I'm trying to face all my fears. And then too, John, I don't have the years in front of me like you have. So I gotta do what I'm going to do. So
yeah. Well, that's cool. I think eventually we'll be able to connect on some of this stuff, and that's a part of it too. Is having a network of people that are doing things and being able to use our resources to kind of help everybody move up to that next level. So that's great. I'm glad we had this chat. Glad you kind of came on impromptu here and was able to get this done. All I can say is when somebody puts their mind to something and you see them actually jump into it and do it, they got a lot of credit in my book. Which might not be a whole lot of credit, but it's a lot of credit, because I meet so many people, that are trying to get started, and most of the people that you meet, they'll be excited about it for a little while, but the excitement will turn off, and it'll turn into that idea that just gets put on the shelf back here. So you got the idea, you're doing the work, and sounds like the bank account's going up because of it. And before you know it, you're gonna be doing some commercial deal, and I'm just gonna be figuring out how to tag along and
whatever, John.
Get one of these lunches, man. Get one of these lunches that we can squeeze in right now, every now and then.
Whatever, John. I am, and I tell you this all the time. I am very impressed with you, what you've been able to do. Everything. The fact that you are bi-coastal, or just everything that you do, man. And you have found a niche, and you are really working it. I've been very impressed with you since our first conversation, and so I learned probably more from you than you could probably ever learn from me. But I'm just really proud of you. I know that there's some larger things ahead, so I'm just glad that I could say that, man, I know John Crutchfield from Mississippi.
We're both being funny. We need to get off of here before we just start praising each other. But hey, if you're trying to get connected to Grab the Map, or if you want to get in touch with Aalim Bakari, both of us are pretty accessible. We're on social media. You can find us. Aalim, I don't know if you want to share some specific information for how to get in touch with you, but everybody knows you can find me at grabthemap.com or grabthemapllc.com. You can also find me on Facebook. Just look us up at Grab the Map. How can we get in touch with you, Aalim?
All right. I'm at Victory Capital, and that's VIKTORY, victorycapital.com. And then I'm on Facebook as at Victory Capital as well.
Awesome. Well, everybody have a good day. Hopefully you're doing something to grab the map today. Don't just look at it. Grab the map.